Hi everyone, this video we talk about, well, the curious case of the missing duo mode in Elden Ring Nightreign. Now, FromSoftware's upcoming co-op-focused spin-off Elden Ring Nightreign has generated significant excitement, but a notable omission in its multiplayer structure has become a focal point of discussion among fans. Basically, the absence of a dedicated two-player co-op mode at launch. For example, this posted on Forbes, Elden Ring Nightreign just overlooked making a two-player mode. Now, Elden Ring Nightreign is built around teams of 3 players working together to farm maps, defeating bosses, and acquire XP and loot over a 3-night cycle before facing a super boss, a Night Lord. Now, the game was designed with multiplayer as its core focus. A departure from the primary single-player experience of the original Elden Ring, which gameplay you can see here from the DLC. This is not from Nightreign. Now, the game fully supports playing solo, even offline. And for those of you who are still skeptical, this is from the official website. Can you play Elden Ring Nightreign offline? Well, you can see the answer is yes. But if you play solo mode, which of course is quite obvious, if you play multiplayer online with others, of course it's going to be online and not offline. Now, the game is designed for groups of 3, and there's no option for 2 players to queue together without being automatically matched with a random third teammate. This inability to play specifically as a duo has surprised and disappointed many potential players. I mean, you can understand that. What if you want to play with a friend and you don't want a third party in the party? You just want both of you to play. So this is quite understandable. Now, the developer explanation, well, kind of an oversight. In an interview with IGN, Elden Ring Nightreign's director Junya Ishizaki addressed this issue directly. Now, from what I've read, he explained that the two-player option was simply, in quotation, overlooked during development. He also stated the development team's main focus was on creating a multiplayer co-op game for 3 players, balanced specifically for the team size. This was largely a game balancing decision, aimed to providing, in quotation, a brand new sense of accomplishment in co-op without feeling, in quotation, too overwhelming or too busy. Furthermore, they put a significant effort into ensuring a playable solo experience, as Ishizaki mentioned, being a player himself, understood the desire to play alone sometimes. Solo play includes adjustments like less aggressive enemies and a discoverable self-revive feature, although the experience is intended to be harder. Now, Ishizaki admitted that in putting all of the efforts into a 3-player and solo aspect, they, again, I'm quoting, kind of overlooked and neglected the duos aspect. End of quote. And he apologized for this. He explained that balancing for duos would be a significantly different challenge compared to solo or trios, requiring a distinct design approach that wasn't implemented. Now, the community's reaction to the lack of a duo mode and Ishizaki's explanation has been largely negative and perplexed. Many players found it difficult to believe that the 2-player option could be genuinely, in quotation, overlooked in a game basically that focuses on co-op, especially when solo and 3-player mode exist. So no, they're asking, alright, you did 1 and 3, why not just adding 2 option? Now, players pointed out that coordinating a group of 3 friends is inherently more challenging than coordinating 2, making a restriction frustrating for many. The prospect of being forced to play with a random, unknown third player was also met with skepticism and concern, with some players anticipating awkwardness or liabilities. The decision was seen by some as a weird caveat or a micromanaging mess, contrasting with the more flexible multiplayer option found in many modern co-op games. Several players indicated they would delay purchasing Nightreign until a dedicated 2-player mode is added. Now, another significant point of contention among fans further complicated the logistic of forming a 3-person group is the lack of crossplay support at launch. Players with friends on different platforms voiced significant disappointment. Now, the multiplayer design of Nightreign also differs significantly from previous FromSoftware titles. While games like Elden Ring allowed temporary summoning of players for specific challenges like bosses or areas, often resulting in 2-player experiences plus potential invaders. Nightreign is designed to run persistent co-op instances, However, even within a group of 3 in Nightreign, players are still encouraged to operate independently and challenge different areas before regrouping for the boss, reflecting some of the isolated feeling from the mainline games. Now, there are of course a hope for post-launch support. Despite the initial omission, there's a hope for players who prefer to play as duo. Junior Ishizaki confirmed that FromSoftware is, and again, opening quote, looking at and considering, end of quote, adding a 2-player option for post-launch support. While this is not guaranteed, it indicates that fan feedback is being taken into consideration. Ishizaki acknowledged the significant demand for a duo mode without the need for a third random player. Implementing a dedicated 2-player mode would likely require significant balancing and design changes to enemy encounters, rewards, and scaling mechanics to ensure comparable challenge to the solo and 3-player experiences. For now, players planning to dive into Elden Ring Nightreign at launch must choose between the solo experience or forming a 3-person team. Of course, you have also auto matchmaking. Again, either with 2 friends or by, again, matchmaking with a random 3rd player alongside 1 friend. The future of dedicated 2-player mode rests on FromSoftware post-launch development plans and the continued demand from the community. Yeah, so this is yet to be confirmed whether it's going to be available, let alone post-launch, so we need to wait and see. But yeah, there's concern about that, and hopefully this will be added. I personally definitely understand this concern. Sometimes you just want to play with a friend, and that's about it, and you want the game, of course, to balance around that. And of course, I always recommend checking the official website and official sources to find the most reliable, up-to-date information. Thanks for watching.